Psalm of David. This one is powerful, complex, and full of movement. It feels like a victory procession. God rising, enemies scattering, captives freed, and the king entering his sanctuary. The theme here is God defeats evil, defends the weak, and establishes his dwelling among his people. May God arise. May his enemies be scattered. This echoes Israel wilderness language when the ark would move. Enemies melt like wax before fire. Smoke is blown away, but the righteous, they rejoice and are glad. When God rises in action, out comes the verge. Fear for enemies, joy for the faithful, okay? Then sing to God. Extol him who rides on the clouds. Then a surprising shift. A father to the fatherless, a defender of widows. God sets the lonely in families, leads prisoners out with singing. He's not just a warrior, he's the protector of the vulnerable. Divine power is tied to compassion. Then David recalls the wilderness journey. The earth shook, the heavens poured rain. God refreshed his weary inheritance. God's past faithfulness, full present confidence. Okay. Then kings flee. Okay. Kings scatter. Woman proclaim victory. Then a dramatic line. When you ascend on high, you took many captives. This is victory imagery. A conquered king returning home. But instead of keeping spoils, God gives gifts. God conquers in order to establish his dwelling among people, okay? Then, praise to be the Lord, to God our Savior, who daily bears our burdens. Daily, God delivers from death. He crushes persistent evil. Victory is not just historical, it's ongoing, right? So then David describes musicians, singers, and tribes in procession. It's celebratory, public worship. God's victories should become communal praise. Then David asks God to strengthen what he has done. He envisions kings bringing tribute. Come from Egypt. Cush submits herself to God. The psalm ends. Awesome is God in his sanctuary. He gives power and strength to his people. God's rule expands outward from his dwelling place, okay? Let's check the key lessons from Psalm 68. The first one is God arises and evil scatters. Second lesson, power and compassion coexist in God. Third lesson, remember wilderness and faithfulness. Fourth lesson, victory results in God dwelling among his people. Fifth lesson, God bears burdens daily. Another lesson, worship follows deliverance. Final lesson, God's reign ultimately reached the nations. Psalm 68 is a sweeping celebration of God as victorious king. It begins with a cry for God to arise and scatter his enemies, recalls his powerful acts in the wilderness, and highlights his care for the fatherless and oppressed. It portrays a triumphant procession as God ascends and establishes his dwelling among his people. The psalm ends with a vision of global recognition and strength given to his people. It teaches that God's power defeats evil, protects the vulnerable, and ultimately extends his reign to the nations. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, share, and see you in the next one.